Okay, we are here live at Chipotle in Westlake, Ohio. Chipotle is a sponsor here in all three counties, so Lorain, Cuyahoga, and Medina County. Today, as we're going to adventure in all three counties and talk about so many different things, first of all, we want to know that today our focus, of course, is on truth. Truth is what we can control, and truth is what we will talk about more in detail on what it is, of course, the goal on every avenue in regards to whether it is in hockey or whatever it may be in what sports or educational aspect we're looking for. As we go on today on the social-emotional aspect, it is so important to look at and understand the fact that we're going to be talking about so many different areas. As of tomorrow, of course, the Matthew J. Senior Scholarship through Lorain Community College, through Lorain Community Foundation. We'll be having conversations on starting the funding for that scholarship that will be in Lorain and North Ridgeville in regards to the 2024-2025 school year. To go along with that, we have scholarships, of course. We want to talk about the great scholarship that Matt Semnick and his crew have put together in Bay Village for Trevor Walsh. That is coming up as of this year for the 2024 graduates. And of course, we have in Medina County for the 2025-2026 scholarships coming up. And we have been contacting so many different arenas in regards for donations, in regards for sponsorships, and we have so many that are involved in the past 4 months, from restaurants to individuals to committees and organizations. So we are continuing that aspect as we have been for the past 4 months. And in fact, in the month of December, I can't tell you how many have came to me to say, yes, this is definitely a piece of the puzzle, and Medina County is extending the 3 counties in Project 3 with the 3 focus of 3 communities. So with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and talk about recruiting. When it comes to so many recruits that are going on and on at the aspect of recruiting taking place right now, there are 2 focuses on the social-emotional aspect. The recruit must understand that he or she, as a student athlete, identically loves what they do. They love the game, they love the aspect, they love everything that they do. But they also must understand, for example, that in order to get that opportunity, because they love it that much, they're fighting for it. That means through the good, through the bad, whether there's hurt, whether there's aspects of the time that there's injuries or hurt, or whatever it may be with challenges that come about, they have no factor on identifying their strength, their truth, and most of all, have gratitude and attitude. And I like how that rhymes, where it actually creates the appreciation of what the person is doing. If you don't appreciate the recruiter, if the recruiter doesn't appreciate you, if both aspects, if you have no understanding because of no communication, then you really know that the gratitude and the attitude is not there. And that is so many times just a lack of communication, and we're going to talk about on every avenue in education, in the aspect of the simplicity of recruiting in college athletics and pro athletics. But the fact of the matter is, communicate and communication face to face and letting that be done is what creates a pure understanding. Now, we're going to talk about athletes and understand the fact of the matter as overthinking or overdoing things or just not completing any type of communication is horrific and horrible. But also the other avenue we're going to talk is we've been evaluating so much hockey and so much baseball this past week. And the fact of the matter is we have a couple really amazing things to identify. Looking at hockey, we saw Chris Kinney a couple weeks ago and seeing how Bay Village has just done a great job in redeveloping it with the whole entire coaching staff, the community, and Chris is just a great man in so many ways for what he does for the sport of hockey. We replayed, of course, in regards to what took place 1 year from today. I had an interview with Chris Richards, and what a great coach, a Canadian, And the fact of the matter is, he just talked about, his career path and what he does for the kids. Back then they were 15 U's, now they're 16 U's, and Abe was one of the individuals that we interviewed back in January again for the second time, and just seeing their path and how they showcase themselves and everything else. And they just do an amazing job. And Joe, who was there in the interview too as well, both coaches just do a great job of everything from communication to getting the kids on, creating the opportunity, and their social emotional development is amazing because they actually have control on create that understanding of everybody, from fans, from parents, and of course the student athlete.
Coach Chris Richards. I grew up in Cornwall, Ontario, Canada. I played 4 years at Ohio State University and 11 more years in the minors after that. So now obviously at a time in my life where I want to give back to the kids of the coaches in the past that gave back to me and were able to help teach me this great game of hockey. That's all we're doing here right now, and we're enjoying it every day coming to the rink. It's a fun experience with 15-year-olds and their hardships and learning and growing as humans and as well as hockey players.
Awesome. Coach Joe, would you like to introduce yourself and talk a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Coach Joe Spaza. I'm from the Cleveland area originally. Grew up playing in youth hockey here in Cleveland. A couple years, 4 years at Padua High School. And then went to play a couple years juniors and wound up being fortunate enough to play Division III at Nichols College. Like Coach Chris said, this is my first year actually coaching a team, and frankly, I wanted to be able to give back to the youth and offer an opportunity and to teach these kids exactly, not only how to be a better player, but be a better person. And with what I was able to pick up through my years, I want to be able to relay that to them and to help them to exceed and achieve any goals that they have, whether it's hockey, personal, whatever it may be. So our overall message and what we're looking to do is just develop the players to get them to be the best player they want, and hopefully hit their strides and hit the goals that they want to be and where they want to be.
Now, looking, of course, as we've been evaluating so many different hockey programs in the past few weeks, but looking at Medina Hockey Club, we had 2 games. We first looked at St. Ed's last week, as we were there to watch St. Ed's, and they were playing Medina Hockey Club, and they were playing their JV program, their secondary program. So we said, you know what, let's go ahead and look at them again, and let's see what's going on as we climb the ladder to see them, and then the varsity and so forth, and look at the whole picture. We were overwhelmed with disgust to see how fans at that game went ahead and created yelling and created with the banter from the players to the athletes, to the banter, to all the way to the individual on the side of the ice yelling words that we don't even want to hear. Undespicable. So we talk about positive communication, but then we talk about communication that's just basically horrific and a lie. It's not the truth. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let us see that again, but also we're going to talk about how important it is for coaches at every level to communicate with the parents, and to not just communicate with the parents, but educate the parents. Parents need educated just like the student athletes do. And even at the college level, and I can tell you from experience, and even at the compliance level through NCAA and NAIA, again, I can tell you from experience, it is always important to look at truth, follow compliance, and you know what? At the end of the day, you walk through to create the truth by individuals communicating and doing things the right way, through kindness, through not going ahead and making up stuff or anything that is just uncalled for, or just because a person is hurt, because maybe they lost, or maybe just, they're hurt or injured, or maybe the score wasn't as it should have been, or maybe the game wasn't as fair as it could have been. But you know what? At the end of the day, class and kindness is what you always remember. The giving of all that is always makes up for the appreciation and the gratitude of any single student athlete, coach, or the entire program. But words or acts of mismay or unkindness or just because of any of that such nature is something that will be taken care of through the compliance, because it's uncalled for and it won't be allowed. And I'm going to talk about how that will be taken care of on all avenues of business when it comes to sport or life. So we're going to actually go ahead and connect with the organization and go ahead and talk to them about this horrific situation at their play. They're going to continue to be evaluated at their higher levels and see how that's working throughout. We're going to be following, the state playoffs. We're going to be following final games and in the final weeks of here that take place. But it is important to understand as we transition to springtime, which is baseball. Baseball is just that game that is a little different and is really based highly on class act. But you know what? I'm going to tell you. I can tell you from on the hockey side on the ice, you can be tough, you can be strong. And you can get things done in a strong way, but it's also doing it with class and understanding the social emotional side of knowing the truth.
Think you can win on talent alone? Gentlemen, you don't have enough talent to win on talent alone. Again. You better think about something else, each and every one of you. When you pull on that jersey, you represent yourself and your teammates. And a name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. Get that through your head. Again. Everybody get on that line. Hey. Again. Again. Herb. Come on, Craig, blow the whistle. Again.
Michael Ruzioni! We're through Massachusetts!
Who do you play for?
Play for the United States of America!
That's all, gentlemen.
So, that being said, the truth is always what I can and I will. And with that being said, hurt maybe comes from the truth, but that's okay. Because you know what? It's a full understanding and it always will be okay as long as the truth is being said through communication. That's where we're going, that's what we're going to see, and that's what we're going to talk about regarding parents and recruiting process, and of course, the gratitude and the attitude of the sport itself. We'll talk soon, and let's enjoy tonight's episode 6. That we'll be talking about 2024, because we have moved on. And you know what? We're also maybe moving on to the Dominican Republic and opening up a program in Garfield Heights. And we'll talk more about that next week as we talk baseball, more of a focus. And tomorrow at 5 o'clock, we will have one of my favorites of all time that I will be giving a personal reference to face-to-face and going ahead and telling him all the amazing things that he needs to hear, and he can keep that video forever. But it will be Spencer Crane from number 1, St. Ed's, but number 2, he's now on his tour and found his home at Ohio Christian, finishing his year and looking to play possibly across seas or whatever the steps may take. So we will talk tomorrow. Of course, it will be with Spencer Crane.